হ্যালো এভরিওয়ান, আসসালামু আলাইকুম। স্বাগতম সবাইকে মাইন্ডস্পেস আয়োজিত মনের গল্পগুলো পডকাস্টে, যেখানে মানসিক স্বাস্থ্যের সকল অজানা গল্প নিয়ে আমরা এসেছি। আজকের guest speaker is a pioneer in herself, a social activist, founder of Wonder Woman, a female-centric travel platform, a Diana Award holder, but more than that, a true inspiration to me and all young aspiring women, is none other than Sabira Mehrin Saba.
Hello.
Hi, thank you so much for joining us.
Thank you so much for such a beautiful introduction. That's wonderful.
You deserve it, like completely.
Thank
So,
you.
Apu, how are you doing? How is your day today so far?
I'm doing fine. I think I have been doing better today.
Okay.
It's a lazy day, I would say, because let me just share that I have, um, you know, it's a special day today because I just left my job yesterday, and today it feels like freedom because I
Ah,
was a full-time job holder for last 5 years, and this
okay.
is the first time I have become a full-time entrepreneur. So this day
Wow,
is
this
special,
is
to be very honest.
amazing. Oh my God.
Yeah, so I'm saying a lazy day because I'm just taking it a bit.
That sounds wonderful, Apu. Really, it feels like more of a freedom, like a fresh breath of air, like getting
Definitely.
into this.
Definitely kind of feeling, if I want to be very open about it, because uh, first of all, have a small job that always
Yeah,
puts you ground, right? So
yeah.
since I resigned from my job, I had this agitation that whether I would
Mm,
be able to pursue the entrepreneurial journey properly, or whether I would be able to
yeah.
handle the uncertainty that's ahead. আমি বলবো না যে it was a decision, or it was something that is really refreshing. I'm trying to recentering myself to some really productive stuff, and I'm glad that I'm part of this session as well, because I think that mental health is something that has been integral, not just as and in every stage I have felt how mental health has a massive role to play. So starting the day with your show, I think it's a wonderful convey how I have been dealing with it.
That's amazing. That's really nice to hear. It's almost like a bittersweet feeling, like this next step that you're taking. It's actually
Definitely,
wonderful.
it's very daunting. I would say it's
Yeah,
daunting.
daunting, yes, that too. So, for let's get started with like my first question for you would be, how
Mhm,
does mental health resonate with you? Like individually, we all have a different view of mental health. Like
mhm.
when you hear the word mental health, what do you think of it? Like for you individually.
I think mental health, I see, how would I put it? It's normal to me. I mean, normal to me, I think
Okay.
that whenever I talk about physical health, mental health is just like that. But to me, I'm saying it normal in a sense that I'm not taking it or signifying it to a certain degree.
Yes.
To me, is a part of my daily life, and I can understand how much it can affect my productivity, or how I function, how I also, whenever I think of mental health, I would say I see it something really important on day-to-day basis. This is important for me, and I feeling good about it or not, in terms of
Yeah.
if I'm cheerful, or if I'm feeling down, if I'm anxious. So I'm very conscious about mental health when I'm dealing with any kind of emotions out there.
Yeah.
It's just like having food. It's just
Yeah.
like working. So mental health is just like that for me. That's why I said it's normal, like a part of my daily routine.
Yeah, it's actually very hard to like convey it to the mass people because অনেকেই এভাবে জিনিসটাকে দেখে না and they don't perceive it in the same way যে it's normal. Like it's just part of your life, like জ্বর হওয়া যেমন, পেট খারাপ হওয়া যেমন.
Yeah,
It's that same.
I can have headache, right? So just আমি
Exactly.
হেডেকটাকে যেভাবে আমি যেভাবে আমার সর্দি, মেন্টাল হেলথকে আমার ঠিক সেভাবেই দেখা উচিত। ওকে আজকে প্রবাবলি আমার মানুষের সাথে ইন্টারঅ্যাক্ট করতে ইচ্ছা হচ্ছে, সো হোয়াট আই
Yeah.
ক্যান ডু টু স্লো। কিছু দিন থাকে যখন মনে হয় যে আমি খুবই হাইপার অ্যাক্টিভ থাকি and I would just socialize as many as people as possible, but there are
Yeah.
days when I can't get out of my bed and I have to accept it. আমি যদি এই জিনিসটাকে
Yes.
বুঝি বা অ্যাকনলেজ না করি, আর এটাকে যদি একটা প্রবলেম স্টিগমাটাইজ যে ও ড্যাম
Yeah.
হতে পারছি না, সো আমার লাইফে আর কিছু করার নাই, আই থিঙ্ক আনফেয়ার মাই হেলথ অ্যাজ ওয়েল, বিকজ আজকে আমার হেডেক, আমি করতে পারছি না একটা কাজ, ঠিক এমন ভাবি হয়তো বা আমি আজকে ডিপ্রেস, অথবা আমি সো এখন আমি
G.
বাট আফটার ফিউ মোমেন্টস ফিউ ডে বি ফাইন, সো আই হ্যাভ টেকেন ইট
Exactly.
অ্যাজ লাইক দ্যাট
Yeah, it's actually as simple as that, and এটাই মানুষজনের আসলে catch করতে অনেক বেশি problem হয়. And what you said about how you have always like taken it like normally in your life, like সব সময় throughout your work or your personal, like the whole ups and downs and everything.
ইন্টিগ্রেশন, হ্যাঁ ইন্টিগ্রেশন আনা আর কি নিজের লাইফের সাথে,
জি জি
it's a part of my body, it's a part of well-being, it's part of me, so it with my daily life and adjust accordingly.
Exactly, like dress accordingly. This is actually a very beautiful thing that you said. And এইটা থেকে আপু, like how do you মানে how has your journey been like with mental health? Like মানে personally, if I talk about myself, আমার যেমন like I have learned about mental health like recently, like হবে 4 বছর, where I have like actually accustomed myself with mental health, like নলেজের থ্রু যে আমি আসলে মানে রিয়েলাইজ করেছি, অ্যাকচুয়ালি ওটাকে অ্যাকসেপ্ট করেছি অ্যাজ আ লাইক পার্ট অফ মাই লাইফ অ্যান্ড হাউ ইটস এফেক্টিং মি। তো it has been a journey actually, like I can like literally see back and মানে it baffles me now to look back and see যে আমি আসলে ওই টাইমে একটু aware ছিলাম না, or like how I was going through something but I actually didn't like identify it as that, but এখন আমি তাকাই বলছি যে না, I was actually having a hard time back then. So it's been a journey, like this learning process. So for you, Apu, how has it been for you? Like how has this like change of like perception of mental health has been for you like over the years?
So much for this question. I think I would take some more time for this one to answer, because I
Please
would take
take
you
your
back.
time. It's actually a loaded question. Like it's
Yeah, yeah, I would actually take you back to my I would say teenage years, because আমি
wow.
বলবো যে ওই টাইমটাতে মানে আমি তখন হচ্ছে বিভিন্ন পেপার, আমি হচ্ছে অনেক নিউজ পেপার
জি।
আর্টিকেলস এন্ড ম্যাগাজিনস আমি দেখতাম, সো তখন এই ওয়ার্ডগুলো অনেক বিষণ্ণতা, হতাশা, ডিপ্রেশন,
Ah,
বাট আমি এগুলো না জাস্ট পড়তাম, মানে দেখতাম, বাট আমি না কখনো এটা পারতাম না যে জিনিসটাকে, আমি ভাবতাম আচ্ছা কি অথবা আপসেট আছে, তার লাইফে কিছু একটা ঘটছে, সো ফ্রাস্ট্রেশনে ভুগছে, বাট এই
জি।
ওয়ার্ড গুলার ডেপথ আমি কখনোই তখন ধরতে পারতাম না। আর এরপর যখন আমি ইউনিভার্সিটি লাইফে যাওয়া স্টার্ট করি, তখন হচ্ছে ডিফারেন্ট ডিফারেন্ট রিজনসে কিছু চেঞ্জেসের জন্য অ্যাকিউট ডিপ্রেশনের মধ্যে হচ্ছে আমি নিজে যাই, হ্যাঁ, তখন
জি।
আমি যে আমার সব সিমটমস গুলো হচ্ছে ম্যাচ করছে, এবং যখন ম্যাচ করা স্টার্ট করলো তখন আমি বুঝলাম কতখানি স্কেরি হতে পারে, বিকজ ইটস লাইক ইউর ফলিং ডাউন, মানে একটা হোলের মধ্যে ইউ কিপ গোয়িং ডাউন অ্যান্ড ডাউন if you can't get the right support system immediately. And তখন যেটা হয় যে no matter how much you're understanding or acknowledging, even if things are going fine, you don't feel happy about it, or you don't feel
Yeah.
excited about it. আর যে কাজটা নিয়ে হচ্ছে একটা টাইমে হয়তো বা enthusiasm ছিল, you even lose interest in your daily chores, or just the basic things that you would do, like taking shower or being very regular about your sleep. প্রত্যেকটা জিনিস হচ্ছে ইম্প্যাক্ট করা স্টার্ট করে, এই সিমটমস গুলো যখন আমি নিজের মধ্যে দেখা স্টার্ট করলাম, দ্যাটস when I was able to empathize people who were in depression, because আমরা
Yeah.
ফ্রেন্ডরা যারা বা মানুষরা যারা যখন দেখি একটা ফ্রেন্ড ডিপ্রেশন আছে, no matter how many times we say not there to listen, why
Yeah.
a person who is depressed is so difficult to persuade, because ডিপ্রেসড মানুষটা নিজ করার পরও কিন্তু সে বের হয়ে আসতে পারে না, বিকজ ইটস আ কনস্ট্যান্ট ড্র্যাগিং ডাউন, পুল ডাউন,
Yes.
ইটস নট, আমি
It's
আমি
like
যেটা মানুষ,
quicksand.
yeah, quicksand মতো, exactly, rightly said. And a lot of times people confuse between becoming sad versus being depressed. These are
Yeah.
not same things. These are, depression is a medical condition, and being sad is an impact of an incident or situation that happened to you. সো এই দুইটা জিনিসের মধ্যে কিন্তু আমাদের ডিফারেন্সিয়েট করতে হবে এন্ড করে করতে হবে। এন্ড আই বিলিভ ফ্যামিলি মেম্বার্স শুড indicate or particularly friends ও যদি হয়ে থাকে, I think people around you they supportive of it, because আমার কাছে মনে হয় যে আমি যখন এমপ্যাথাইজ করা স্টার্ট করলাম, নিজে যখন ওই ফেজের মধ্যে দিয়ে গেলাম, আমার
জি
biggest victory was when I got the support system. I had a best friend.
yeah
I have to make, and I have to mention her. She's still my best friend. I'm still connected with
mashallah
more than 2 years, and she was there. My understood my relatives. I could listen to me, and I think sometimes having to listen to your situation is also good enough, because যখন মানুষ ডিপ্রেস থাকে তার কাছে মনে হয় যে তার কেউ নাই, কেউ তাকে বুঝতে পারছে না, that person is not being understood। এই
yeah
জায়গাটাতে আমি বলবো যে it's very painful, it's very painful, and আমি বলবো না যে I'm fortunate, but unfortunately I can relate because I have been there. So depression is something, stress I had to go through that started making me anxious. আমি কখনো বলবো না what is panic attack, what is anxiety attack. So I
yeah
was explaining this to a friend of mine who later became my colleague. So I was explaining that I feel like this, like, having hard time to breathe, feeling like there is a pain in my body all of a sudden,
yeah
মনে হচ্ছে যে খুব চাপ ফিল হচ্ছে আর আমি করতে পারছি না। Then she's like, you're having anxiety attack and you're not understanding it. So you see, I did go through it
yeah
for multiple times without even knowing what it is, right? So
yeah
what did I do? So I started, looking for alternatives or looking for coping mechanisms, what would help me. So এখন যে coping mechanism আমার কাছে, necessarily it would work in other people's case as well, afraid of medications. So that's my mindset. So I have started
yeah
opting for, alternatives as such. So this has been my journey, like someone who could not empathize or who could not relate what depression is, to
yeah
becoming the person who was depressed herself, to becoming the person who started understanding what is being anxious and what is anxiety attacks, and then also overcoming that into her own life. I think my journey. So I'm grateful that these situations took place, because
yeah
একে তো এটাতে আমাকে স্ট্রেংথ দিয়েছে যে আমি যেন আমার
hmm
ডেইলি লাইফের চ্যালেঞ্জগুলো ফেস করতে পারি, regardless, even if it takes a year, 3 months, 6 months, when
yeah
anyone is talking about it, at least I can, relate, if not being
yeah
able to help, but I can understand. So yeah.
that is like this is so beautiful to hear. For me specifically, it's almost like listening to this like slice of my reflection
Okay.
speaking back to me in a way. So
আচ্ছা।
it's actually really beautiful. And I could relate to you on so many level. Like মানে আমারও হচ্ছে from মানে I'm in my third year right now, university তে। তো like এই university admissionary time থেকেই হচ্ছে I kind of figured it out for me what I was going through and how মানে একটা depression stage-এর মধ্যে দিয়ে আমি যাচ্ছিলাম, but I didn't even know the name, like what to call it at that point, যে like এটা কি হচ্ছে। মানে looking back now I could মানে আমি literally বলতে পারবো যে that before like my admission stage that life did not happen এরকম মনে হয় যে like I'm a completely different new person right now.
True. মানে after that stage, you would see the, the change before and after. So
Yes,
it's a massive see the shift.
yeah,
True, I agree.
and it's like so এটা থেকেই so I can like totally like hear you like the support system and everything. Unfortunately I didn't get that from my familial side, but yes my friends, and when you talked about your best friend and like yes I have the same one in my, and like coming into work, like Mindspace is like one of the few endeavors that I started initially after I was like actually feeling better, like kind of getting hold of myself. And same about panic attack and anxiety, where I still like I have this my best friend and I have my coping mechanism where even before like taking this interview I was like panicking internally, and she was constantly like the whole time she was texting me that I'm confident in you, you're gonna do well, and like like it just feels so
Yeah, you're
good to
pulling it
know.
off so nicely. Yeah, it's amazing.
She literally told me to tell you যে আপকেও বলো যে you're nervous, দেখো আপুও বলবো যে you're doing well.
Yeah. I until you said so, I didn't understand. Yeah, that's really fab.
So so she actually talked me into this, and like this idea about how your coping mechanisms are like very personal and you kind of integrate yourself into it sort of makes sense. Like for example, like phone anxiety, আমার অনেক বেশি ফোনে কথা বলতে ভয় লাগতো, but I never even know যে এটা একটা term আছে যে like phone anxiety, like you can
Yeah.
say it.
People actually, hate answering phone calls because they
Yes.
don't want to talk. So I know people like that. So for example, আমার জন্য কিন্তু আমি ফোন পাওয়াটা আমার কাছে খুব ইজিয়ার মনে হয়, বিকজ তখন আমি খুব কুইকলি কথাটা বলে শেষ করতে পারবো। বাট যখন আমার কাছে কেউ টেক্সট করে বা ইমেল করে, I think that's when the incident, because I have to respond in a very well manner, so formally
cordial
and
way.
cordial way. Yeah, so that takes a lot of effort from me. So sometimes I just procrastinate in that case. So that's when I realized that, oh, that's the kind of anxiety I have, that oh, I have to respond and stuff like that. So yes, it's not that I'm being rude, it's just that a lot of times people actually perceive that as rudeness, that oh, they're not even bothering to pick up the phone, to email, but sometimes it has some sort of anxiety attached to it.
Yeah. And it's like our society behind into understanding these aspects like as actual realities of like life. Like not being able to like talk over phone is like I'm being shy, or like I'm not putting myself out there that well, or I'm not like sincere about my work. So it's like there are like so many labels to my shortcomings that I'm actually facing because I'm going through a certain thing. So yeah. So I have like a very weird question for you, coming
Sure.
from like what we were talking about. Is that do you ever like do something and like say something, or like you're handling something? Maybe it's like a work thing, or you're like saying something, or you're doing a work. Like, do you like in that back of your mind, that small voice goes like, এটা কি আমি কি lame কিছু একটা বললাম, or is this a stupid question? So how do you deal with those kinds of things?
I mean, are you asking about the voice? I mean, the negative voice that you're talking
Yes,
about?
the negative
self-talk?
voice. That
So are you
like
asking me
small
how I
voice.
deal with it, or what?
Yeah, in those situations, like how do you like come out of it? How do you like change it into a positive thing, like in your work? Jeanette,
I
nah.
think, yeah. I mean, negative self-talk is a constant thing, I would say. I mean, I would say that I'm the worst critic of myself. Like, I don't think no one else in the world criticizes me worse than I do to myself. So that's the first thing. Secondly, I think I'm really hard on myself when it comes to making mistakes. A lot of people have pointed it out, that Sabira, you have to be a little bit easy on yourself. You're so hard on yourself all the time. I mean, you're human at the end of the day, and a sign that you're putting effort, because unless you are doing anything, you won't even make mistake. I just don't allow myself to do that. So that's one, also something really detrimental to my own productivity or thought process, I would say. Things are a regular thing. I would, if you ask me that how do I combat negative self-talk, so there are two ways. One is definitely talk like my confidant, probably sometimes my best friend, probably sometimes my colleagues. So I look for the positive reinforcement from different. If talking to a stranger who is probably a community Wonder Woman, probably I'm talking to a partner, in a sense, like someone with whom I can have a business deal. So while I'm having a conversation, if you are sensitive to the other person, sometimes like as a reflection, you get to hear something positive as well. So that actually nullifies or fights your negative self-talk, that oh, I'm not that bad. Hearing some positive things about myself, there are certain level of appreciation of what I'm doing. Do try to talk. I would recommend to you or anyone who's listening to this, when you are not being able to talk nicely to yourself, probably give it a shot to talk to other people, because sometimes the slightest nice thing that people tell to you, that does magic. So that's one thing I would recommend. Apart from that, what I do is, I don't know a lot of people do that or not, but I do try to talk to the mirror as well at times, so that I can, face the negative
Yes.
person, within me. And till I start, motivating myself or talking positively, I keep reiterating that. And I see that even was criticizing is the same person who is, talking about the things that I have done. Sometimes, you criticize yourself because of the things that you have done in the past, but sometimes this is the same personality that guides you towards, what's the action plan that you should do to combat wrong things. So I let it speak
Yeah.
and guides you to do something better. So just for an example, আমি যদি একটা just example দিই, ধরো
Yeah.
একটা এক্সাম দিলাম বা একটা টেস্ট দিলাম, সো হয়তো বা টেস্টে আমি আরো বেটার করতে পারতাম, রাইট? সো
জি।
কন্টিনিউসলি কিন্তু মাথায় এরকম থাকে যে আরেকটু ভালো দিতে পারতাম, আরো ভালো করে অ্যান্সারটা লিখে আসতে পারতাম। সো তখন এটা যখন আমি নিজের সাথে নিজে কনভারসেশনটা করতে থাকি, একটা টাইম পর কিন্তু নিজের ব্রেনটাই বলে যে নেক্সট বার কিন্তু এই জিনিসটা করা যাবে না, এটা আমি করলাম, এটা কিন্তু আমাকে মানে because
Yeah.
you know what are the things that you have done wrong, right? So that's when you can actually set it as a action plan or a corrective action that you can tell, that's what I focus on laterwards, যে okay, ভুল করছি, সমস্যা নেই, so these are the steps that I need to take, মানে moving forward. Then I share it with my closest people that,
Yeah.
I'm feeling bad about this, and then I would see that same, যে okay, যা হয়ে গেল, let it be, now focus on the, future actions that you can correct.
Yeah.
That's how I function with the negative self-talk.
That's beautifully put, Apu. Really, it's a great advice. I would actually try to follow it in
Yeah.
future, because I actually have a tendency of like really looking into my like the smallest mistakes I do. For example, this whole session, I'm going to like look back and I'm going to point out that I said that wrong. I shouldn't have used that word. I shouldn't have said it that way. So yeah, this is
In
a
that
great
case,
advice.
আমি আরেকটা জিনিসটা করি, সেটা হচ্ছে এটা আসলে not entirely great advice or something, but কিছু কিছু কেসে আমি এখন I stop looking back, because I give my 100% to something, and
Yes.
afterwards I stop going back and rechecking unless it's a continuous process. So suppose আমি কিছু live session, I go there, I speak, and then I come out and I don't even watch it back, for my anxiety, and
Yeah.
I know that I would be like,
Yes.
oh, what did I even talk? Why did I even say that?
Yeah.
So আমি নিজেই আবার criticize করতে আমি বসে যাব, right? So just to
Yeah.
save myself from that painful process,
Painful
sometimes I
process,
don't even
yes.
watch. I'm like, থাক, যা বলে ফেললাম, done. I just want to forget that happened. So I move on to my next project. So that actually helps me to move from one segment to another segment. Now, কোন জায়গাটাতে you can go back and check, যেমন হয়তো বা you are being the host, right? So probably that's when
Yes.
you can look back and think that, oh, I can do this differently next time, and test it out. Be easy
Yeah.
on yourself, যে আমি এটা ভুল করে ফেললাম, আমি এটা কি করলাম, এটার জায়গায় you can say that, আমি এই কাজটা এভাবে বললাম, একটা কাজ করি, next time let me just rephrase it and see what response comes in. That's how
Yeah.
you can, change your mindset or test it out. That's easier on yourself.
That is a beautiful advice, Apu. Thank you. Thank you so much. For nextly, I would like to ask you about as we go forward, like as you have worked with Wonder Woman and you like meet a lot of like you have created this different platform, like a scope for females to actually pursue their like traveling interest in that field in around the world. And this whole journey, like it's kind of like breaking a gender stereotypes that has gone into the effect. Like while making this platform, you had to go through a lot of things, like struggle with a lot of things, I'm sure. So has like this taken a toll on like your mental health specifically? Like what do you think?
It did. I mean, how would I put it? So there are multiple layers how it had taken toll on my mental health.
Yeah.
But I would still say, before going to the struggle, I would say that Wonder Woman has become a space where I feel good. I feel good. I always Wonder Woman isn't a space where I feel troubled, where I'm worried. And that's what I
Yeah.
also try to make sure that other people feel as well. And people do come to me and they do say that whenever they're having a lot of, bad, new incidents over their home feed, they go to Wonder Woman just to, refresh their mind, because they get to see so many women are traveling, so many opportunities are there. So it makes them feel good about it. So it's a feel good kind of space for me as well. So I have
Yeah.
like that intentionally. Right now, at point, I would say that it's not a good space for me, because now I have taken, taken up the role of entrepreneurship full
Yeah.
time. So right now I focus or take it a look in a different manner, because I make sure it's creating values for people day by day. So that kind of mindset I had 4 years ago, right now I have a different mindset. So if you ask me about challenges or how it has affected my mental health, firstly, definitely positively, but when it comes to negatively, I would
Yeah.
that um, sometimes whenever people have been very unjustified when it comes to their service reviews or negative reviews as such, I think that has impacted me
Yeah.
in initial days, because that's when I try to perfect the experiences all the time. So I was really sensitive, but over the times I learned to grow thick skin, and I also tried what feedback is actually constructive and what feedback is probably out of spite, probably out of
Yeah.
someone's own personality. Because, when you are into a service oriented industry, or whenever you are dealing with customers, a lot of say stuff because it's their personality, or probably something is troubling within them. And it is actually
Yeah.
applicable for your day to day life as well. A lot of times people are saying negative things to you because probably they're troubled, not necessarily it's a reflection of how you are. So we things personally. So initial days I used to take every review, thoughts, words, comments, remarks personally. But now I take a step back and try to understand that what is the back, why that person is being like that. So
Yeah.
initially it did take toll on me in that aspect, but right
Yeah.
now I say that I had evolved in terms of taking words or remarks. Another, since I had a full-time job and at the same time managing Wonder Woman as a founder and CEO, I think that was massive, because I did not have any weekend. I did working hours. I had to work for Wonder Woman, right? So even though
Yeah.
I was so passionate about this, it didn't feel like a toll. But sometimes I burnt out. Did not have
Definitely. Yeah.
space for my own mental well-being. So my family members, my say that, hey, you should even watch a Netflix, but I did not even do that. During that time I worked. So that's that, I did not relax. So this is something I would say that definitely a negative impact on my mental health.
Yeah. That actually, I get it, because like working here, like with the Mindspace and everything, it kind like even though you're passionate about something, it kind of like you push yourself to a point and it kind of like hits you back. Like you push yourself too far before like that. Does while working, like while you have kept on working, has it like made you more aware of your like burnouts and like realize you more about your boundaries?
Yes, about to go talk about the boundaries and
Yeah.
burnout. So first of all, yes, burning out is something that I didn't know exist during my university life, because the workload wasn't as heavy as the ones I had faced in last 5 years.
Yeah.
So burnout is real, and I did face that, like going through a phase where you are not being able to even properly function or think through. I did go through that.
Yes.
Even I reached a point where traveling also seemed activity to me.
Yeah.
So I understand the level of workload I went through, that even travel didn't seem like a relaxation to me. So that's the level of burnout I went through over and over. That's what I acknowledged and learned, that okay, this is it. In terms of boundaries, I would say I'm really bad at it, because to work, so I'm taking,
Yeah.
whenever my supervisors, teammates are relying on me for projects, I'm not being able to say no. Whenever there is a Wonder Woman event or trips and I am needed to be there, I'm being there.
Yes.
On top of that, there is a social media influence or some sort of currency that I have out there. So for which different brands and companies are reaching out to me. So make sure that I, advocate for them. And that's where
Yeah.
also I'm not being able to say no. So that, took away a lot of time and energy from me, which eventually adversely mental health and physical health
Yes.
as well. So I would say I actually lost boundaries over the years. But right now, I would say that from this year, it's a very new resolution, it's not even
Yeah.
something old, but it's a new resolution that, yes, I'm trying to, after a lot of behind, behind taking any kind of offers, because
Yeah.
what I have realized that being a person who is highly productive at the same time has limited capacity to put energy into everything that comes across, regretted a lot of times for saying yes. And then
Yeah.
I even could not cancel because of the commitment issues, right? Because once I commit to
Yeah.
something, I just feel really guilty of backing.
Backing out of it.
Yeah,
Yes.
so that's one happens. And every time before any show or any event, I regret I signed up for this. What was going on in my mind? Why did I even agree to this? So honestly, this does happen in my mind all the time. Can I not just show up? So I also want to, for first 2 to 3 years of building Wonder Woman, I did not go to any event. I got invitations from multiple social events, and like there were certain camp I didn't do, not because I was, I was perceived as someone that, oh, probably it's snob or something as such. It's not that. It's just the anxiety that I had, social
Yeah.
anxiety that I had severely. A lot of people think that I'm a socialite, I'm so I'm extrovert, but that's not true. I'm a practicing extrovert, or
Yeah.
ambivert is not even a thing. I'm a practice. It's my work
It's
that
a
pushes me to
perfect
be.
word.
Yeah, it's the work that is pushing me to become a socialite. But the truth is, I'm a homesick person. I have just two extreme sides. Either I'm inside my blanket, or I'm just out exploring on my own, not with people. I'm just a solo
Yeah.
traveler. So
Yeah.
it's the truth that people did not see. And I did not go to events because I feel so anxious. But over last 2 years, my team has pushed me. They're like, Sabira, you have to be the face. You have to go out there. You have to take this invitation. If you're not going, we are going there. But we have to make our presence. You can't do this. So that's when I started normalizing it, that, okay, it's okay. I can talk to people. I don't have to feel anxious. If I don't like the vibe, I will step out nicely, but I have to be there. So yeah, that's the evolution that's taking place right now within me. I'm still working on it.
Yeah, it's a constant evolution. Like it's a constant pushing yourself, like normalizing each and every, like at each and
Exactly.
every step.
I mean,
Yes.
I mean, I have been to, certain global conferences as well when I was young, when I was in university, and those
Yes.
conference levels where, for example, President Barack Obama hosted one in Silicon Valley, and I could not make the
Oh,
most out of it. Now, when I look back and I'm like, I was given this kind of opportunity, but I did not do proper networking. Like Mark Zuckerberg was there, Sundar Pichai was there, but I did not make the most out of it because I was introvert and I was anxious all the time. I didn't know how to make the best out of networking. It was never my thing. But since last year, every other person I have come across has, instilled that belief that you have to do networking, you have to get out of that social
yeah.
anxiety. Otherwise, as an entrepreneur, you wouldn't go far. You have such a strong network, but you're not capitalizing it because you think that you're not good enough, or there's in myself. So I
Yeah.
consciously worked on it. I would say that I'm doing pretty much good because I just got out of this bootcamp program for which was done in Denmark. So my
Okay.
mentor said that, Sabira, you have to start networking. You need to learn that. You have to reach out to people and talk as much as possible. And I paid heed to that, and the result was marvelous. So
Wow.
so I think that this is also a recommendation or an advice to people that even if you're introvert, you can become a practicing extrovert with conscious efforts, and there is no harm.
That's beautifully put out. In like while in your profession, like as you have worked so far, like you get to meet so like different groups of like women and a
Mm-hmm,
huge
mm-hmm,
number of different people,
mm-hmm.
and you get to see them and you have like this whole experience with them. So how has that influenced your understanding, like the struggles of a woman's mental health, like specifically, like how has it transformed your view like towards mental health from the people that you've met?
I would say that it's a two-way sword. So, for example,
Yeah.
one way is meeting different kind of women.
Yes.
Day one in Wonder Woman, I have met women every other day or interacted with them, whether they're just members, whether they are potential partners, sponsors, however, or travelers.
Yeah.
Anyway, what helped me, they don't even know that how positively they have boosted my confidence, how positively
Oh,
they have motivated me to work towards Wonder Woman even more, because the
yeah.
way they have felt that it benefited them, motivated them, it just eventually in reverse. So I seek inspiration from the woman I interact every time. For example, just while I was started talking with you, I felt really good just with the introduction, right? It pumped me up. So that's the kind of inspiration I seek from every interactions out there. So that's one way how mental health helped with my mental health. Like it
Yeah.
helped me to get out of my introversion and open up myself. That's one.
Mhm.
And the other way is I realized that I did know the fact that everyone has her or his own struggle. Everyone is going through or went through some sort of pain or trauma, and we just don't see that. So whenever I'm traveling with different women,
Yeah.
so I'm opening up with them, listening to different kinds of stories of their life, and understanding that, okay, it's just that the social media or the person has struggled, right? Same goes for my end as well. So I
Yeah.
have been able to create bond and get to know women from deeper ends, that has become a refresh button, or it has worked out as a, how would I say it, it's a how it has positively impacted their well-being as well. And that's why they're a part of the Wonder Woman trip,
Yes.
and that's where I created the bond, and they went back with good memories. And I think that's what makes me feel that the work is actually meaningful. So yes, these are the two
Yeah.
ways how impact on mental health.
It's beautiful. Apu, in your work, like as you have like you are being the founder and the leader, and you
Mm-hmm.
are working in so many different ventures separately.
Mm-hmm.
So as a leader, like you have this work environment, this like workplace. So in Bangladesh so far, it's like workplace mental health, like the employees' mental health is not taken into consideration as much as it
Mm-hmm.
should be. So like for like, to share with you, like I went to this big corporation for a
Mm-hmm.
collaboration, like partnership with Mindspace. And
Mm-hmm.
when we were talking about it, this person, he just like said very clearly in a word, like with no hesitation, that the 10,000 people that he has under his roof, the employees, none of them have any mental health issues. And like just simply like as a statement. So so it was like when it was one of my first experiences like with the outside world and how it's like how they view mental health. So in your opinion, how do you think that you and like leaders like you can contribute to ensure like a good environment, like a healthy workplace environment for their employees? Like what are the changes can be made in Bangladesh?
So I think that I would say that what I have learned throughout, working different places, and what I'm in through those
Yes.
lessons in Wonder Woman. So what happens in Wonder Woman team? That's what I'm going to focus on, because it's the company that I have and I'm running.
Yes.
So
Yes.
what I'm trying to do is, number one, whenever an employee is actually, number one, sorry, before that, I would say that I have tried to make sure that there is a safe space where the employees or the team members, they can come up to me and say that what's her life, for example, be
Yeah.
it a family problem, be it any other personal issue, they can come
Yes.
up to me and talk about it. I think that's the first key is necessary, because they know that I'm not going to judge. That's the kind
Right.
of I would say a safe space needs to be created first, because I'm not going to throw a remark just like that. So number one, they do tell me, communicate clearly that, okay, this is the problem I'm going through. I need break. So I do not, that's the second part. I do not push any employee or any team member to work when that person is not mentally, I would say, healthy. So because I know that no matter how much, the outcome or the product is not going to come out good. So I give them the space. I tell them that, okay, take your time for 2 to, or tell me how long do you need to come back. We set up a timeline, and then the person comes back even before the timeline that we set. And they tell me that, Sabira, I'm just fine right now. Tell me what are the tasks that I need to do. And that's the best part of it, right?
Amazing. Yeah.
And the third part is that, so it's taking leave, right? You can't take leave for family issue. You should be able to take leave because you are feeling completely depressed and devastated, or heartbreak. I would say that take that leave and come back with positive energy that you have. So that's the space that I have created. And also I have learned but not implemented, but would do that. The third part is doing, check in with everything needed. I learned that from my past employer. I would mention that
wow,
it's important to do a weekly or monthly check, understand what they're feeling about their work, company culture, or even the boss. So that's what I'm going to implement from next month, and already mentioned that I think it's important to have a one-to-one session, even for 10 minutes. It's good to have that. But what I do, not having a monthly check-in, but I do reach out and ask them if I see that there is some sort of change in tone. So I try to directly address that if anything is bothering, because a lot of times people are not just easy to open up what's going wrong. And that's when they open up to me that, these are the things that's not going fine. So I try to adjust my task load based on that. So this is what I'm doing in terms of mental health. And as a leader, I'm trying to talk and get affiliated with as many mental health initiatives as possible. For example, when you're I said yes immediately, because I believe that the more I can talk about it, the more I can express about it, it would show that this is not a taboo. And people should take it seriously and not assume that mental health, because that means your headache doesn't exist. So it's just saying as equivalent as that.
Yes, Apu. And really the advices that you gave as being a leader myself to a group of people, it actually resonates with me as well. I would definitely implement these in the future.
Yeah, please do. I think employees, and they need to have a safe space to talk about it. Otherwise, what's the point of working? That's why people actually in Wonder Woman, they feel it's a sisterhood, or it's a bond. They're friends, and this is why they go extra mile, whenever it's needed. When someone is falling, he takes it up. So this is why that.
So what I was trying to say is that for leaders like us, aspiring leaders, and as we're gonna go into the workplace soon enough, it actually very enlightening to know this kind of things. And
also I would recommend employees, I shouldn't be saying this, but probably I shouldn't be saying this politically incorrect, but I would say that it's okay to take sick leave if you're not mentally doing well. It's all right. We should
it should
normalize
be
that
made
as well.
like a clause. It shouldn't always be that I'm physically sick, that's why I can take a leave.
Exactly. So be it casual leave or sick leave, sometimes you are just not feeling right. That doesn't mean that. Also, I tell this to my team members as well. Just because you're not over your professional life as well, a lot of times we take our mental health as an excuse as well. Sometimes I have not take it as an excuse as well. Make sure that you are taking some time off to re-energize yourself, and then you come back as faster as possible. Because if you are putting a lot of focus on that, for example, if you're having feverish feeling, or if you're catching cold, if you're focusing only on your cold all the time, then you won't be able to get back to your work, right? Because you will be thinking that, oh, I'm bothered by this allergy. What you have to do is get your pills, get some rest, take that nap that you need, get the comfort food, or talk to your friends, and then get back to work as early as possible. Otherwise, you will be succumbed to that negative emotions, which is not going to help you anyway. So you need to separate that importance and prioritize your work accordingly.
The willpower matters a lot in like coming back and
Yeah,
getting through
sometimes you
things.
lack the will. I understand. Sometimes you can lack
Yeah,
the will, but sometimes you have to push yourself
push
despite
yourself through.
lacking willingness, because it's your responsibility that a lot of tasks are dependent on you. If you're not
Yeah,
being there, things might crumble, and a lot of people might not even understand the gravity of it, right? So you need to
yes.
do certain things from sense of responsibility despite not being able to push yourself. So yes, that needs to be keep in mind as well.
Yeah, it's like you have to find like a balance between what
Hmm.
you're feeling and how much time you're taking off and how fast you come back.
Exactly.
Yes, it's beautifully put, Apu. So I'm kind of done with my question so far, but I would
Mm-hmm.
like to play one game with you. Is it
Yeah, sure.
okay?
Sure, sure.
Uh, so I don't know if you have played this before, but it's one of the things that when I tried myself from
Mm-hmm.
Teal Sean. She's a public speaker.
Mm-hmm.
So one of her interviews, I saw a game like this was being played. So
Mm-hmm.
I'm kind of like excited to know your answers to
Okay,
this.
I'm scared now, but yeah, let's do it.
No, it's very fun. So, if you have a pen and a paper, so like first question is, what is your favorite color and why?
Oh, I know.
You did
I know,
it?
but let
I
me answer that.
figured
I
that
just
you might have. Like
Yeah,
it's
yeah, but
like
let me answer that without even writing it down. So my favorite color, uh,
yes.
it's Prussian blue,
Okay.
Prussian blue or navy blue, which is popularly known, but Prussian is the exact name. So I like that because I think it's just a browser that goes. Okay, so I like Prussian blue because I think it's regal.
Yeah.
It's regal. It shows royalty and some sort of sophistication. I like Prussian blue because I feel it's very intense, and the color shows power. I believe like it has that, because navy blue, that is actually worn by people.
Yeah.
So that so I think power, intensity, and the regal aspect to it, I just love that.
That's beautiful. Like, and your favorite animal?
My favorite animal is horse. I know why
Oh.
why where that is going, but let me still answer that. So I like horse because it's I feel it has that warrior kind of feeling, like the fighting attitude to win. Because I connect horse with race. So
Okay.
someone that is have a winning attitude, having a winning attitude,
Wow.
then competitive. Horse means workaholic as well, so that's what I like. And
Mm.
yeah, and I think that strong built uh, powerhouse kind of feeling, I think that's great.
That's
And I know
really
why.
so nice.
And I haven't found any horse so far, just to tell you. Still looking for a horse. So yes.
Oh, I'm sure you're gonna find it soon. And
Yeah.
how about your like water body? Like
Water
your
body, yes, water body. I know that's the next one. So I think, while I was answering for it, I said waterfall, but
yes.
eventually I found that it's more, I would answer both. Okay, so why waterfall? Because I think waterfall has variety of it, so variety, it no waterfall, no to waterfall is same. So it's different. So probably it's more about,
Yeah.
secondly, waterfall feels very, I would say, refreshing at times, because it, the, how would I say it, it goes through the rocks, and it makes you feel, eventually it becomes really refreshing and nice and soothing and calming. So that
That's
effect I really
beautiful.
like when it comes to waterfall. Yeah, and it's very beautiful, right? I mean, when you see that, you don't know where it pops up from, and it's really
Yeah.
nice to see, like, whether it's a mountain or whether it's from a really small kind of, like, while you are walking through the hilly areas and you have
Yeah.
just come out of it. So I think the surprise factor is also something that I really like. Yeah.
That's beautiful. Like it's mesmerizing, really. Like
Yeah.
I love like this is a thing that I kind of do with every people that I meet, like
Yes,
people
I
that I'm
did that.
talking
When I
to.
figured out this game, I started asking people as well, and people figured out that, oh, you're asking me for this answer. I got it.
It's
But
so
I think the water
enlightening.
body, I like waves. I think recently I realized that it's wave that I
Wave.
really like. Yeah. But uh, I don't know eventually what's the main reason, but I think the wave is basically it can be really intense and very, sometimes it's really big and sometimes
Big.
it's
Yeah.
so soothing and small, and it changes. It shows that it comes to you. It touches you whenever the wave is touches your feet and something, it feels good, right? And then it
Yeah.
goes back and it comes back again. Uh, the pull and push, I think that's really nice, and it's like a tease, right? You don't know when the
Yeah.
next wave is coming in. So yeah, I like waves as
That's
well.
beautiful. That is beautiful. Like it makes me so like it makes me so happy to listen how different point of views are for like different people. It kind of gives you an idea. So that's very nice, Apu.
Thank you.
So with that being said, I think we are done with this interview. If you want to add anything more. So for the audience, the color is actually basically my view of my own personality. And that is really beautiful, like royal and everything. That's amazing. And it actually, after talking to you, I can really see it. And
No, I think that's what I thrive to be. Yeah.
our personality can like actually be like something that we want to be, is how we portray it. So it kind of comes out in that way. And the next one, the animal, favorite animal, is like my perfect like
Partner.
partner. And
Yes.
it's beautiful. I hope you find yours soon.
I mean, I have this conflicting one, most of the times when I asked my friends, they would go like, yeah, I like dog. And they would, start explaining it. And
Yeah.
the funniest part was when I asked one of my closest friends and said that I like what way she described. It was just like her husband. And I'm like, oh, wow, you just described your husband. So that was super fun. So yeah, sometimes I feel like, oh, I like probably a cat or something like that. But horse is definitely my favorite animal, I would say. Yeah.
Like it's very uncanny how accurate it is. Like for
Yes,
me,
yes.
when I did it like the first time, I was like literally going on with like the animal that I
Reasons.
like and just like reasons why I like it. And it's so weird. Like I said dog and I was like that because dogs are very
Loyal.
understanding and like it's like that happiness that I feel like dogs can sense it. So like one of the main things that I look for my future partner is definitely to be like understanding of me. Like it's like the main thing. And it's like so like wow, like how did that come out of here?
Exactly. And honestly, I did not portray anything particularly, but I think I love driven personalities.
Yeah.
That's one thing. So it's that, right? It's very
Yes.
driven kind
It's
of thing.
very driven.
It's
Yes.
very driven. So I really admire when I see a person is driven. That's what motivates me. So I would definitely want someone, and seeing that person, I would be inspired. And I'm not sure how loyal horses can be. I think loyal because it's very personal,
They
right?
are
Because
loyal. Yes, they're
yeah, because
personal. Yes.
very personal. Because with each king, with each owner, the horse is just with that person, right? So it means very
Yes.
exclusive. Horse is like your own thing, your own protector, and or that you take to the war. So I think I see one as like that. Yeah, that makes sense.
That's beautiful. And for water body, it's like my view of my own sexuality. So that is
Yeah, so
beautiful.
waterfall, yeah. So that's thank you so much for playing that game, and I'm glad that I knew this before so I could answer, and I did not cheat, I just answered what it was. So yeah,
Yes,
wonderful talking to you.
it was really wonderful talking to you. Like, thank you so much for coming to us and like joining in this session. It really means a lot to us specifically as growing organizations. Like, when individuals like you actually support our cause and actually stand up for like mental health, while it being such a hush hush topic. So it really means like it makes us feel very like that we're going in the right direction with the right people. It's.
Yeah, definitely. And best of luck, and best wishes for the organization and the cause that there
Thank
is.
you so much, Apu.